Spoiler warning for the movie, but the Fantastic Four First Steps isn't really even about Galactus. So much of this movie is about becoming a parent for the first time, from the ingenious title to the stunning way in which Galactus is eventually defeated. Before I saw the movie, I avoided trailers because I knew I was going to see it, and I wanted to know as little as possible. But from the title, I had figured we'd be seeing the Fantastic Four's first trip, their first steps, into space, and how they got their powers. It's touched on briefly in an opening montage, but the movie actually really starts with Sue finding out that she's pregnant. It begins with that, establishes its theme with that, and then it's laser focused on being about that for the rest of the movie. I noticed a lot of details that threaded that theme throughout the movie, and I really want to see it again, knowing what I'm looking for and keeping it in mind, because I bet I missed a bunch of stuff too. After having come out of the movie loving it, I've been super curious about what other people thought of it, and how that correlates with having children around them in their lives in some way. Myself, I've been a preschool teacher for 16 years, teaching kids from 1 to around 6, so much of my day is spent with small children, babies, and mothers, and quite often I watch a mom go from having 1 child to pregnant to having 2 or more, so this movie hit home and it hit hard for me. The Galactus plot mirrors childbirth in many ways. Before going into space to find Galactus, Reed and Sue talk about the baby and how that's going to impact them being the Fantastic Four, who the movie sets up as being beloved and trusted by the public. Sue says it won't change anything and that they'll continue doing their good work. Putting aside how absolutely bonkers it was for Reed to take the heavily pregnant, ready to go into labor at any moment, Sue into space, just for some context there, you can't really go on an airplane if you're around 8 months pregnant, let alone blast yourself into orbit. Anyway, that's when things really go wrong, when they confront Galactus and suddenly, because of their baby, everything changes. Galactus wants their child, and who knows how that confrontation would have gone were Sue not pregnant. And everything changes not just for them, as a new set of parents, but for the entire world, because now the world is at stake and the public who adored and trusted them turn on them when they arrive home and announce that no, they're not going to give up their baby, even if that will potentially save the planet. What's so touching about that scene to me is that the logical, scientific Reed delivers this news as if he's saying, well, of course you didn't do it, obviously, and expecting everyone to just go with him on that. He's so consumed with elation at having his first child after years of failed attempts that he kind of forgets for a moment that the rest of the world is going to be pretty angry at them. And all the while, Sue stands at the back in a more comfortable outfit, holding a baby, looking tired and sleep deprived, and frankly pissed off. I really liked that presentation of her looking exactly how a new mother would look and just not being in the mood for that right then. Reed's scientific nature comes out again later in an emotional speech to the baby, in which he tells Franklin that he doesn't want him to be like him. He says, there's something wrong with me, always has been, and the more I look at you, the less I know, and the less I know, the more scared I am. Brilliant scientist Reed Richards, who in this movie invents teleportation, has an existential crisis from looking at his newborn child. Looking at the baby shows him how little he really knows, and that frightens him as a scientist. There's one more scene that really struck me, and that's the final sequence of the showdown with Galactus. It's so unusual for an MCU movie. It's not this action-packed thrill ride of a finale. Ultimately, Sue, and Sue alone, beats Galactus. And think for a second how she does that. She pushes. She pushes and pushes, and we see her straining and screaming while she does that. She pushes Galactus out and through a hole. It's mirroring childbirth again. There's so much more in there that won't fit into a short video, and I'm sure even more that I missed, but I feel confident that how much you like or dislike this movie has an awful lot to do with your experience with children and childbirth. If you notice anything that I missed, please let me know in the comments, because I am fascinated with this movie and I can't wait to go see it again.